Hi, I'm Sonya Schmitz, and my parents are Neil and Char Hochstein.
And I'm Luke Schmitz. My parents are Patrick and Janet from Albion.
And we just got married on October 1st of this year.
Yeah. And from freshly being married, there's a lot of things in marriage, even in this month and a half, that mimics the example of Mary, our Blessed Mother. One of those things is how Mary said yes to God. Uh, and we say a yes in a similar way, a much lesser way though. Mary, in choosing to love God, uh, she made God more present in a very unique way that had never happened in history ever. Um, she just being open to God, giving her fiat, saying yes, made God incarnate and present. In a much lesser way, our marriage is being an image of Christ's love for the church. Makes uh, makes a visible sign of God's love. And I really think that's amazing how even our simple choices, our choice to love each other in our daily life, makes God's love, even more present in little ways.
Yeah, and then by Mary's yes, we also get to choose to say yes to each other in our marriage and choose to love each other. So we choose to love each other through small things, through doing the dishes and taking out the trash and who does, laundry. We get to continually say yes to one another and choosing to love one another through not only household chores, but through the life we get to live together.
Mm-hmm. Just spending time with each other. There's always difficulties and times that we don't necessarily want to love each other, but I think Father Andy in Marriage Prep and Engage Encounter, that retreat weekend, they encouraged a lot to be ready for that moment when we don't necessarily want to love each other and when it's not as easy as it always is. So I think we were really pretty ready for that choice to love each other even when we don't necessarily want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in another way, we are choosing to love God through service. We've started to help with theology of the body, engaging with teens in our area.
Yeah, starting groups for high schoolers and that.
Yeah, and really trying to just be present. We've both found a lot of feelings of just gratitude and peace being in Bible studies,
Mm-hmm.
being with the youth. Luke
Yeah.
teaches CCD. So we get to say yes to God in that way and get to love others around us as well.
Yeah, there are so many graces that God gives. Like, for instance, me as a CCD teacher, He gives me simply by giving and teaching the students in CCD. Yeah. And I think another way that we say yes to each other, to choose to love each other as Mary did in marriage, I think is to choose to understand each other. At least for me as a man, it's difficult to stop and listen. It's like all of my masculine instinct wants to fix it and get it done and to figure it out and just solve the problem, but that's not what Sonya needs from me. Like, to listen is just really, really difficult sometimes. And that takes a lot of a choice. I definitely want to improve on that. I see improvement that I have made, but I can definitely make a lot more improvement to choose to understand her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and choosing to listen in the same way for me is, being open and listening to what you need, what your needs are, and choosing to love Luke through whatever situation and help he needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are just great examples of how we choose to love and bring God into our own life in very incarnational ways, if you can say it like that. Just like Mary chose to love God and brought Jesus into the world. So I hope you take good things from this, please have a happy Advent and Merry Christmas.